Alright, welcome back to yet another one. This is episode 11, I'm pretty sure, of the multiplayer inventory component system. We're just gonna keep going at it. It's going quite well actually, surprisingly so. But this will probably be a lot of episodes in this series. Anyway, we got this inventory where we can pick up items. I need to fix that actually. It opens when I pick up an item sometimes. But we got this inventory. We can drop items by dragging them out. We can also right click to create a small menu where we can drop items from the menu. And the menu is quite comfortable and easy to use, and everything works fine. It's also good because we are now prepared for controllers, which will also use the same menu. So we should now create a widget for deciding the amount of items we drop. Before that, let me just figure out why the inventory opens. I'm fairly sure I know why. It doesn't when we can see. So once we opened it once, it opens again. So it's on the pickup, right? Inventory component. Add item to inventory is probably here. So we have this is open. Let's do that one instead. Instead of this valid. So if it's open, we refresh. But if it's not open, we just skip. I just hope I don't get any errors from this valid node now. We'll see, we might need to add it again. But this should solve the functionality problem at least. Yep, seems to work. And no errors. Good, let's just keep that for now then. We created the widget. You're not supposed to say that. Or I'm not sure. Didn't we create one? Item amount, yeah, this one. So, do we do a slider? We can do a slider, but that's a little bit annoying with the controller, I guess. We might make it a slider later. Let's just keep it easy for now. We need a canvas panel. We are gonna do text. Text will be called item amount text. Make it a variable. And let's do it 1 by default. And wrap it with a horizontal box. And we're gonna do two buttons. In the horizontal box. Gonna add text to the button. Duplicate the button. And then put them on each side. I'm gonna select both texts. And we're gonna turn down the size quite a lot. 14 maybe. We're gonna make this one. I'm not sure what these are called. One of those. And this one, the other one. You can do images or whatever you want to. You can clearly see it's arrows at least. Actually, we can make these text bigger when I think about it. Something like that. And let's wrap this horizontal box with a border. Like that. We're gonna make it black, maybe a little bit of opacity, just so we can see this clearly. And the horizontal box should be filled, that's fine. Does it move with? Yeah, that's good. And for these ones, set the alignment to middle, I guess. Or maybe fill. Yeah, doesn't really matter. Looks like. Why are they towards the bottom? Yeah. This is fine for now. Okay. There we go. Item amount. So inventory component, drop item, before we actually drop the item, we need to add a bunch of logic here. Just creating some space. Okay, so we need to just thinking here. Okay, first let's do the drop slots. So whenever we drop, we create widget, item amount, promote it to a variable. No. Let's promote it to a variable called item WB, item amount. Let's add to viewport. And the viewport should be this. From in the inventory slot we have this create item menu function. We want to do the same here, set position and viewport in the so where was it? The inventory component. Set position in viewport. It thinks it's a UI. owning actor get player control. No, get controller. Pop, pop, pop. I did this before, didn't I? Let me check. Alright, I am a silly person. There is this perfect node called get mouse position and viewport. Not sure why I didn't use this one before. The thing is, I think I tried using this one when I wanted to set up the drop item, but it didn't work. But it actually works now, so maybe it does work. So I should probably revisit the dropping of the item in the specific screen position, but I'm not going to do that later. I'm going to do that at some point. I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do that a bit later because I feel like we already left that. So anyway, this works now. So add to viewport, get positioning viewport, and then set positioning viewport to the X and Y coordinates. You need to just split the struct pin. Anyway, so if we now go in here, pick up an item, and drag it out, you can see that we create the widget where we have our mouse. There's an issue though. I'm just gonna, because it didn't look like we could hover these buttons, so let's just check. Hovered, I'm just gonna do this really obvious orange text. Let's see if it did work or not. Oh, you can see that the hovering does not work, and that's because I think they might be created. Is it created behind the drop slot? Is that why? Go to the designer, select the drop slot. It's a transparent image over it. It might be that it's created behind the drop slot because we set the position, so maybe we set it to move it to front or something. I'm gonna check the DPI scale, check if, I'm not sure what that does to be honest, but apparently we should not use that. Yeah, okay. Not sure. In the item amount, let's just see, create an unhovered. Just gonna see if that works. No, so it doesn't trigger any hover events. On mouse, enter. Let's see if that works. Probably doesn't. No. Okay, I'm fairly sure it's because it spawns behind the drop slot, which is actually more of an annoying issue than I planned it to be. let's just see if that's actually true. Drop slot. Yeah, you can see that we don't see the widget here at all. So that's why. There's a way to set the hierarchy. I'm just gonna figure out how. I'm not sure. Just gonna turn this back to transparent. I think it might be because because the viewport, the mouse is behind. When we set the position on viewport, we set it behind the X and Y. We want to move it forward though, because this is the inventory. I think it's because we created here. We maybe need to create it in the inventory widget actually. I think so. So let's copy this. Go into the inventory. We're gonna create a function called f create item amount widget. I'm just gonna get this position. I'm gonna make a reference to it here. And see if this works. Remove it from here. And instead just grab the inventory here. And call the function. Let's see if that works. And if not, I'll pause and I'll try to figure out a better way of doing it. No, it still doesn't work. Okay, let me pause and I'll try to find a better way. All right, I figured out the reason. It's a stupid reason. It's because we can't do it in the drop item function because it refreshes the inventory. So I created the widget and then just refreshed the inventory. So it created the inventory again over the widget. So, but that's fine because we're not going to drop it from there anyway. Because when we actually in the drop slot, so we have this function, create item amount widget. The first thing we want to do is in the drop slot, I think we have on drop. We do not want to call drop item. We want to go to the inventory component, call f create item amount widget. So this is going to be the function. It's the same as here, but we can copy it. Sorry, can remove that. That was just me experimenting. So we create the item amount widget. We set the widget, we add to viewport, and then we set position in viewport to the split function value. So now we have this create item amount widget. So on the drop slot, instead of calling this, we call f create item amount widget. We can save this for now. Yeah, let's save this for now. So that means that when we drop something, we create that menu instead of actually dropping it. There we go. It's not really working. I guess that's because remove DPI scale maybe. It might also be because we're not playing in full screen. Yeah, pull it off. Remove this from the inventory. I'm just gonna remove the DPI scale and see what happens. That's better. What happens in a smaller window? Yeah, that's better. That works. Okay. So, I'm just gonna drag stuff out so that I can see a little bit better. Ah, okay, that's what actually happens to the report. That's fine then. What's the next step? Already 22 minutes. Yeah, this is complicated stuff. Sorry. Let me pause and try to speed things so we don't make the longest video. Alright, so we want to... Yeah, I might change stuff and make them more effective later. But in the item amount, let's do like this. Let's do inventory. And it's going to be an array of master item class reference. So that's the inventory. We are going to make an items to drop. We are going to make it a it's going to be a single integer. No, not 64. It's going to be a single integer. So when this button is pressed and this button is pressed, here we're gonna get this items to drop. We're gonna increment it on the right side and decrement it on the left side. We're also gonna get the item amount text, make sure it's a variable. We're gonna set text and we're gonna set text to the respective integer. And that should work. Yeah. We can now increase and lower it. So that's good. We're also going to go here and we're going to add another button. And this is not going to be, it's going to be in the, we're going to wrap this horizontal box with a vertical box. And we're gonna put another button in the vertical box below with a text that says drop. It's gonna be, let's make it smaller. Fill, grab the border and drag it down a little bit. I can also do a spacer in the vertical box, up a little bit, and do 5. Something like that. Now we also have a drop button. And yeah, I'm gonna leave the art stuff to you. You can do it as nice as you want to. This is just a functionality. I'll probably clean it and make it a little bit nicer in the end, but and then we can drop. Okay, so on the inventory slot, no, in the item menu, no, sorry, in the item amount, on pressed, we are gonna get inventory. I'm gonna find item. No, for each. We also need to know what items to drop actually. So in our inventory component, so the item to spawn is the item to drop, right? No, we want to keep this function as like this, I think. Yeah, because this is just this spawn item function. On drop, where's the drop slot? Okay, so on the create item amount widget, complicated stuff. Go into the item amount, make the inventory instances editable, expose and spawn. On drop, we also have the held item. This is the item to drop. So we also need to duplicate this item to handle. This doesn't need to be an array, it's going to be a single. And this is also instances editable and expose on spawn. So in the inventory component, refresh. So when we create the item amount, we need to know the inventory and we need to know the item to handle. So we're gonna, in the drop slot again, grab the inventory. Why can't I get the inventory? From the component. make sure it's editable. That might be the reason. It's private here. I want it private, but I still want it to be editable. So let's see if that works. I do want it to be private, but I'm not allowed to get it to have it as private. That's boring. Let's not have it as private. Let's just remove everything like this then. Get inventory. So now that it's not private, we can get it. And the item to handle is the held item. So I mean, I can have it as private. I can just do like this. Grab it here. Okay, make sure get back to private, and then we can just drag. We don't need to pass through the inventory because this function is in the inventory component. So that's just fine. We're just gonna leave it like that. We don't need to grab a reference from there. We just need to know what item to handle. And from the inventory here, we get that. Now in the item amount, we have our inventory. Now we just need to find a way to know. So for each of these integers, we're gonna find. So grab the integer, for loop. For each, we're gonna get the inventory, we're gonna find and so for each of the items to drop, we are gonna find item to handle in the inventory, and this one it says returns -1 if not found. So if greater or equal to 0, that should mean that it found one item. We are gonna it's a lot of passing information back and forth, so we can probably put it more together, but let's just see if it works. So we're gonna get the owning player pawn, gonna get the inventory component again, gonna drop item, and it's gonna be item to handle. That's gonna be dropped. And then we don't want to update it here. We want to update it where is it? Item amount. I need to change the naming of that, I think. So from here, no, cancel. We're gonna drag here, hide inventory, show inventory, which is this is equal to our update function, and uncompleted. So we're gonna drag from there uncompleted. Okay, this is a long video and we're not done yet. It's already 34 minutes. So I might pause a bit here to speed stuff up if I need to think, because I guarantee you this is probably not gonna work. Nothing is working. Okay, nice. not even be minus. Just one more time, I just need to think what's happening here. Pick up 2, I drop, I try to drop 2. All right, I'm gonna pause. Okay, yeah, that was just stupid of me. Someone of you probably got it. The items to drop should of course not be in the first index, they should be in the last index. So we start by 0 and go. But here, an integer is always minus 1, so we also need to plus. We're just gonna get the index plus 1. So it's like this. I guess. Does that make sense? Oh, sorry. Yeah, because we set it up there, so there's no worries. Anyway, so 1, or actually there's still a couple of issues, but there, we drop. It should be minus 1, I guess. Here's a couple of issues also. When we overlap more items, we create this widget, pickup widget several times. We shouldn't do that. But so I'm just gonna add some quick fixes. What's the time? 7 minutes. Okay, let's pause this video here. There's a lot of chaos going on right there, so we'll fix that in the next video. But I don't want to have a video more than an hour, so 37 minutes is this for now. You can see we got some functionality in there. We will clean this up in the next one. So anyway, I'll see you in the next one, and peace out.